On this channel, I've shown you several historical markers from around the United States in most episodes. But in this series, I'm going to spotlight the organizations that bring these markers to the public, so everyone who visits that location can enjoy and learn local history. Hello and welcome to another episode of Historically Marked. This is a special documentary edition based on Behind the Organization, and the organization I'm spotlighting in this episode is Route 66 Hampton Hotels Save-a-Landmark program. I've done over 100 videos or episodes on Route 66 in all 8 states, and in every one of them, every state that is, they had at least one of these Hampton Hotels markers, and I'm standing next to one right now. But originally, these were all placed along the Route 66 caravan in 2003 by a group from, again, Hampton Hotels. And this was one of the original stops. Now, over the years, many of these have been added to many locations. However, they were not done by Hampton Hotels. They were done by other organizations, which I'll explain throughout this video. So I'm going to go ahead and show you this marker. And by the way, I am at Henry's Rabbit Ranch in Staunton, Illinois. Humping to please, oh yeah. So I'll go ahead and show you right now. All right, so according to Henry's Rabbit Ranch's website, this was again one of the original markers that was placed here by the Hampton Hotels Save-a-Landmark program. And unfortunately, this has changed color because it's now pink with a little tint of white, or the other way around, I guess. But this was originally red colored, and it's been almost 20 years. This is 2022 as I'm doing this, but with weather and time and lots of other factors, yes, it has faded. However, the blue and black and white has remained, and in some places that I visited, yeah, there was a sticker here, but again, that's faded. Although in some places it looks better than it did like 19 years ago. There were originally 66 of these placed by the Route 66 caravan throughout the trip in 2003. A lot of them had historical information. Now this one does not really have very much historical context to it, but I still count it as a historical marker because there could be a day when this could not be an information center. And unfortunately, a lot of these signs have been taken down. And then right over there is the actual Rabbit Ranch. And of course, I've done an episode on that 2 years ago, prior to this video, but I came back just to do an introductory to this documentary video. And Rich Henry, who has owned the place for more than 25 years, has had so many international travelers come visit him because they know that he likes to care for rabbits here. I just went in there and bought a couple souvenirs and visited with Rich for a brief time, and there was a couple from Lisbon, Portugal that was in there, so they knew to make this stop a priority. So I'll go ahead and take you to another place where another Route 66 landmark is found. Here we go. Now I'm at the Russell Soulsby Shell Station in Mount Olive, Illinois, where this was another stop on the Route 66 caravan, and I'm standing right in front of another Route 66 Hampton Hotels marker. Let's take a look at it. All right, so unlike the last one we were at, this one has actually kept its color, maybe because of that tree. But this one has like a little cherry sign underneath it. But this one has some historical context on it, like it talks about Russell Soulsby, how he built the station in 1926. Same year Route 66 came about and ran until 1991. So here is the actual Soulsby Shell Station, and visitors can come and go as they please inside the restored building. In fact, I even did an episode on this 2 years ago. So what about the Hampton Hotels Save-a-Landmark program? So what was it all about? Was it mainly limited to Route 66 places? And does it still exist today? Unfortunately, the answer is no. I'll go ahead and get into the history of the Hampton Hotels Save-a-Landmark program. Here we go. Hampton Hotels, as we all know, is one of the most successful hotel chains in the hospitality industry. The company dates back to 1984. It has had a lot of history in its near 40 years, the biggest one being Hampton being purchased by Hilton in 1999. But what a lot of people don't know is that Hampton has also been involved in charity and volunteer work done by their workers. There have been plenty of Route 66 attractions that have been restored thanks to the work of volunteers. Hampton has also put in hundreds of thousands of dollars in these projects, and not necessarily just Route 66, but in all parts of the United States on a lot of historical landmarks and roadside attractions. On April 29, 2003, a Route 66 caravan began in Santa Monica, California. It was sponsored by Hampton Inn and AAA, among others, and it was to last for 66 days. It would, of course, end in Chicago. The caravan was led by Route 66 historian and preservationist Jim Conkle, along with his friend Guy Randall. So, the question on a lot of people's minds is probably this: how do these places end up with a marker or sign? Well, it turns out this was done by vote by Mother Road enthusiasts. They are found in all 8 states that carried Route 66, and at least 2 were placed in each of them. These markers, or signs as I call them, are either mounted to the building that they represent, or they are on poles. They all have the same 2-piece format, with a top and bottom. The bottom usually says something historical or how it represents Route 66. Don't ask me why, but some of the Hampton Hotels markers in Missouri have a different font on top, as in the 66 shield. Unfortunately, a lot of them have came down one by one throughout the years. Nearly a third of the original Hampton Hotels markers placed in 2003 are gone. That does not include those that were replaced by newer ones, which I'll explain later. A few of those markers were moved inside or elsewhere on the property, including Lou Mitchell's restaurant and bakery in Chicago. A few of the attractions that were given a Hampton Hotels sign are no longer open or accessible to the public. Examples include Meteor City Trading Post in Arizona, Ann's Chicken Fry House in Oklahoma City, Shay's Station in Springfield, Illinois, and Mojo's Famous Barbecue in Catoosa, Oklahoma, all of which have closed for good. Those that are still standing have shown signs of wear, others are still looking solid. Some are missing half of the sign. 3 that come to mind including Devil's Elbow, the Admiral Twin Drive-In in Tulsa, and Jones Motor Company in Albuquerque. There are some variations to these Hampton Hotels markers. One of the most notable were those put up by the Illinois Route 66 Association Preservation Committee. In 2003, a group of volunteers throughout the committee had helped restore many of Illinois' most treasured Route 66 landmarks. Since that time, they have erected similar signs but with a different font on the bottom. The Historic Route 66 Association of Arizona has put up their own version of the signs all over classic Route 66 spots in Arizona. This includes those that replaced older Hampton Hotels markers, such as this one in Oatman, and here at Delgadillo's Snowcap Drive-In. They did place an additional marker at Jackrabbit Trading Post. Robert Okura, the owner of the Juan Pollo chicken chain in Southern California, has at least 3 of them on his historic Route 66 properties. Most recently, the city of Pacific, Missouri, and the Magi Foundation began putting up a few similar markers in that area. I'll admit, it was very fun to find a lot of these markers on my Route 66 trips. It was sad to see not a lot of them were still there. So the question I have for you, or any Route 66 enthusiast, which Route 66 classic or current landmark should have gotten a Hampton Hotels sign? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more behind the organization episodes.